Hindi Times, 30th of November 2023, China and India meet again at the WMCC, but no progress is shown. China is taking her time to maintain India's occupation in the north and to increase the size of her fleet and aircraft carrier for the Indian Ocean region. The stalemate started in May 2020, the 14th meeting of the WMCC on India-China border affairs. The two sides discussed ideas to end outstanding problems and achieve total disengagement in Ladakh. There were no clear indications of a breakthrough in resolving the sources of friction on the disputed frontier. Still, India and China held another round of diplomatic discussions on Thursday regarding the protracted border impasse in the Ladakh section of the Line of Actual Control, LAC. According to a readout from the External Affairs Ministry, this was the 14th meeting of the Working Mechanism for Consultation and Coordination, WMCC, on India-China border affairs since the standoff started in May 2020. The two sides thoroughly discussed proposals to resolve outstanding issues and achieve complete disengagement in Ladakh. Follow the breaking news on Facebook's Height channel. Sign up now. The readout did not mention the specific forward movement to address current points of conflict at Dimchok and Depsan, where both sides' forces are still stationed close to the LAC. Following numerous military and diplomatic negotiations, the two sides withdrew their soldiers from other areas of contention, including the south and north banks of Pangong Lake, Gagra, and Hot Springs. The two sides engaged in an open, constructive, and in-depth discussion of proposals to resolve the remaining issues and achieve complete disengagement in eastern Ladakh and reviewed the situation along the LAC in the western sector of the India-China border areas. The need to maintain peace and tranquility along the border areas, ensure a stable situation on the ground and avoid any untoward incident was another point of agreement between the two parties. According to the readout, India and China arranged the next round of the top military commanders meeting at the earliest to achieve the above objective and to carry on their conversation through diplomatic and military channels. The WMCC convened virtually for the first time in June 2020, following the public revelation of the stalemate in May. This was soon after a violent conflict in the Galwan Valley that claimed the lives of at least 4 Chinese and 20 Indian soldiers. Bilateral relations reached their lowest point since the boundary conflict between China and India in 1962, with the first deaths on the LAC in 45 years. Approximately 60,000 soldiers from both sides are currently stationed along the Ladakh sector of the LAC. The External Affairs Ministry's Joint Secretary, East Asia, led the Indian team to the WMCC meeting on Thursday. In contrast, the Director General of China's Foreign Ministry's Boundary Oceanic Affairs headed the Chinese delegation. On May 31, the WMCC convened in New Delhi. Since the beginning of the stalemate, senior military commanders from the two sides have held 20 rounds of discussions. The most recent one occurred on October 9 to 10 on the Indian side of the Chushul-Moldo border meeting point. The Chinese leadership has argued that as the two nations seek to advance their relations in other areas, like commerce, they have started to move toward normalized management of the border situation, which should be placed in an appropriate place. India has maintained that until peace and tranquility are restored on the LAC, the situation there will remain anomalous, and the relationship cannot be normalized.